it's Rob here and welcome to the next part of my build series on the Tamiya Monster Beetle trail on the GF-01 chassis. We're on to bag C this time, and we start off on 16, which is making up the friction shocks. And to start with, we need to get this rubber tubing and cut roughly 12mm off, so we can line it up roughly and then cut through. And as with everything, it's not absolutely critical to get it right, just as long as it's close enough. We then need to take part C2 and MC8, which is the piston rod. Poke that through, get your screwdriver, find the bottom ball connector and screw that on. Now it does show you putting a Allen key to help with leverage, but you don't need it. There we go. You then take your piece of rubber, poke it in the hole. You've then got part C1, and you'll notice there's a key, so it can only go in one way. And then we take MA2 and screw it in to hold that on. And if you make your bit of rubber a bit too long, you might just need to force that in a bit, or take it out and cut a bit more off. We can then put the spring on with part C9 and over like so. And as you can see, it's loose. But then as part of step 17, it tells you can use F11 or F10 as damper tension adjusters. However, you only get 2 of each. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the big ones on for the back, and the littler ones on the front, because I don't like these springs being loose, because it means the spring holder may well just come off. So that's step 16, and we can move on to 17. Okay, so step 17 is mounting the shocks on the front. So we've got that there. We've got the shock, the front shocks even. Can't get my worms out. And we've got 4 MB2s, which are step screws. And it should screw in there. And for step 18, same process, but on the rear. Again, we've got the same step screws, one in the top here, and again low wishbone, soft plastic, that's all I'm saying. So I'll get the other 2 on and these all tightened up, and we can have a look and get ready for step 19. Step 19 is setting up the servo, ready to be installed. And normally you'd need all these plastic bits for the servo saver, but as this is a trail stroke crawler, and what I didn't realise is my servo, which is just arrived, came with this aluminium servo horn, and it's completely lockable, so I thought I'm going to give it a try. So I've set it all up, I've centred it, so I'm just going to lock it all in. We've got two lock screws here, one there, one in this side. My screwdrivery bits are wearing out, I've had them that long. And then there's also one for the top here, but I think, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to pop a bit of thread lock on this one. There we go. And again, I've done a bit of measuring, and the closest distance, or the closest match to the stock, is the inner screw thread. So again, we'll put a bit of thread lock on that as well. Tighten that up, and we can move on. Step 20 is the steering linkage, and here it is. I've already done it because it's just basically screwing ball joints in. Just make sure you get the orientation right, and then you've got two 850 bearings, which in my case are ball bearings, but in the stock are metal bushes. And then we need parts C11, 2 off, and a couple of 10mm screws and washers. And again, checking the orientation of these. Mind you, you can only really go in one way. We mount them, and again, because they're the parts from parts 3C, you don't want to tighten them too tight. And we're ready to move on. Step 21, making up the tie rods. And again, with these tie rods, because they're not proper turnbuckles, you should just be able to turn one and it will eventually tighten up and start to act on the other one. And a little tip from Bob's Hucklebuck RC. I'd never even thought to try this, but yeah, the big, is that a 7 or the 5 nut spinner fits these ball connectors, and we just need to keep tightening it up until we get to 24mm. And I'm kind of keeping my eye on the amount of thread, just to check that one isn't screwing in further than the other, and this one seems to be behaving itself. So there we are, about right. So I'll get the other two done and we can move on. I'll just quickly show you how one try and connect to them or fit them using my pliers. There we go. So I'll carry on and get the other two done and we can move on. Step 22 is installing the steering linkage, and again you've got to turn the chassis upside down and again check your orientation, and then what we need to do is we need to pass one of the steering arms through and then poke the linkage through till you see that big hole there, and then we got part MC10 5x19mm solid bar, and we need to line it up, which I thought I'd had. And once it's in, you push it all the way down, because you then need MC1, which is 3x20mm screw, and that should, he says, pass through and screw in, so it not only stops that bar from falling out, but when you tighten it up, it's another screw holding the chassis together, like so. Again, not too tight. And that's that bit done. Let's do it this way round, be easier. And then once you've done that, we just need to connect the other end of these steering rods. Oops. We can move on to step 23. Step 23 is installing or mounting the servo, attaching the servo even. And we just need two 10mm screws for this. And the only other thing is you have to screw it in through the other side of the chassis. So poke the screwdriver through, poke it through there, if you can see this, and then it's just a case of getting the thread going. And I do think this is one of those kits where it's probably worth going for metal servo brackets. And that's that in. Once again, not too tight. Spin it round, and then we can pop the ball joint on. It says, there we go, and check it, and I do believe maybe a bit of adjustment is required. So I'll get that adjustments done, but I think I'll call an end to proceedings here, and we can hopefully continue on the next one. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and as ever, look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers, bye!